everyone, my name is Anthony, aka Tone114, and today I am bringing you my Week 6 match of the NES, going up against Dudesy, coach of the AC Milanturns. If you missed my team motor, link will be in the description down below, but if you don't feel like clicking that link, just to give you a brief rundown of the team that I am bringing in this match, I have my Blissey with Soft Whale, Toxic, Flamethrower, and Ice Beam. I have physically defensive Gorgeist Super with Will-O-Wisp, Synthesis, Seed Bomb, and Rock Slide. I have my defensive Mold Breaker Dragon with Stealth Rock, Glare, Dragon Tail, and Earthquake. I have Tail Glow, Rindoberry, Manaphy with Tail Glow, Rain Dance, Scald, and Ice Beam. I have my Mega Gardevoir with Substitute, Psychic, Hyper Voice, and Focus Blast. And last, my Scolipede with Substitute, Swords Dance, Poison Jab, and Aqua Tail. And looking at my opponent's team, he has Ditto, Weezing, Escavalier, Excadrill, Salamence, and Hippowdon. So pretty much a team I expected. The wild card I did say was the Charizard, but I did have the Blissey just in case he did bring it. So not seeing Charizard Y on this team wasn't really that much of a surprise. I'm also sort of glad he didn't bring Rotom because my Manaphy is sort of walled by that Rotom. And I did expect him to bring the Escavalier just to handle my Mega Gardevoir better, stuff like that. So looking at his team, he does have a bunch of potential leads. He can lead off with the Ditto just to scout what my moveset is. He can lead off with Hippowdon because I have no Hazard control and getting rocks early would benefit him. He can also lead off with the Weezing and try to see if he can pull off like a Toxic Spikes, but I didn't think he'd do that because I do have the Scolipede absorbing the Toxic Spikes. So, also judging by this matchup, Blissey has less of a value for this team simply because it was mainly here for the Zard Y, and most of his team outside of the Weezing is physical attackers. Ditto can go either way. So I figured since he was going to lead up with either the Ditto or the Hippowdon, I felt comfortable leading off with my Gorgeist simply because I can pretty much get a Will-O-Wisp off on any of his Pokemon just to wear them down a little bit, make it easier for me to deal with later on. So as we play through the match here, I lead off with my Gorgeist as he leads off with his Hippowdon. Pretty much what I expected, just to get off the Stealth Rock early. I see the Smooth Rock on the Hippowdon. I go for the Will-O-Wisp. I am faster. I get the burn on the Hippowdon as he just goes for rocks. I get buffeted by the Sandstorm. I recover from leftovers. So here, I double Will-O-Wisp thinking he's going to switch out to either the Ditto or the Weezing. And it gets off a Toxic on my Gorgeist, which is kind of problematic. I need to keep this healthy to check the Excadrill. So he decides to switch out into his Weezing as I go for the Seed Bomb here. And now I figured I didn't want to take a Flamethrower from this Weezing, so I switch out into my Blissey as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp here, as he did make a nice prediction. He probably predicted my Scolipede here on a Sludge Bomb, so that was a good play. So here I'm just trying to wear this thing down. He does make a nice switch into Ditto just to see what my moveset is. As I go for the Flamethrower, as it's the only real thing I had to hit this Weezing. So now I'm taking Sandstorm damage and taking Burn damage, which is not really good for me. He goes and pulls a double back out into Weezing as I go for the Soft Wall. I didn't really need to keep my Blissey healthy, but as it was pretty expendable in this battle because he did have a multitude of physical attackers that can easily take out my Blissey. As he just goes for a Sludge Bomb here for damage, just trying to wear me down. Makes me think I'm going to win this 1v1 battle in a sense. So he just keeps going for Sludge Bomb here as I go for the Soft Boil, just trying to keep my health high here as the Sandstorm finally subsides. And then he comes out of nowhere and pulls off the Pain Split. Now I should have expected the Pain Split if he did bring Toxic Spikes, he'd have to make sure my Scolipede was dead. So I just keep him going for a Flamethrower here. He now pulls a switch out into Excadrill here as I go for Soft Boiled again. Now after this, I make sort of a mishap here. Now, I did say that Blissey was my most expendable Pokemon in this battle, but as you'll see as the battle progresses, that my play 100% in this situation was 100% to go directly into Gorgeist, because, like I said, Gorgeist was here specifically to deal with the Excadrill. So instead, I stay in and he Iron Heads me, and then I try to go for a flamethrower to get some damage off, show his Life Orb Excadrill, and then I figured, okay, my Blissey was expendable, so I decided to just let it drop here. So my Blissey goes down, and then I realize, oh crap, I just remembered that Blissey is the only Pokemon on my team that I have fire coverage on. So it's going to be a pain to take out this Escavalier. My only way of taking out the Escavalier, or dealing with the Escavalier, is to try to get a Scald Burn on Escavalier with my Manaphy, which was going to be problematic because I knew Escavalier wouldn't want to switch directly into a Manaphy, Assault Vest or not, fearing a burn. So, realizing this, he makes a good play, just getting rid of the Blissey. So I go directly into my Manaphy. Sand is not up, so even if he was a max speed Jolly Excadrill, or I outspeed because I am running max speed on this Manaphy. So I just go for the nice safe Scald here to take out the Excadrill. So now it's a 5-5. He goes back out into Ditto just to scout my moveset. He sees my moveset. He just goes for the Scald here, and he gets the burn, unfortunately. I go for my own Scald here, as I don't get the burn. So now I'm being worn down by this burn damage. I figure he's Choice Scarf, so I go directly out into my Gorgeist, as he can't burn me since I'm already toxic. So he goes for another Scald here. So then, as you see, he's now going to pull a switch into this Weezing, as I just go for a Synthesis, just trying to keep this thing healthy. And now, from here, I figured, okay, the Excadrill is gone. Camilla's usefulness is now in terms of trying to burn Escavalier or trying to burn the Salamence. Because that's basically all my Gorgeist is good for now, with the Excadrill being gone. So, instead of trying to do anything fancy here, for the most part, excuse me, he goes for a Sludge Ball, trying to predict the switch, as I just go for a Will-O-Wisp, because I'm trying to wear down this Weezing too. As Weezing is a bit of a problem for my Scolipede, and I figured if I get it enough range for my Jordan-against Earthquake, I can take it out. Unfortunately, he did pack the Flamethrower, and I let my Gorgeist drop for no reason. So now I go back out into Manaphy here, and I'm figuring, okay, I just need to get rid of this thing, or put it in range of Jordan-against Earthquake. He goes for the Sludge Bomb here, as I know Manaphy's going to die next turn, but I figured the 1-for-1 here worked out in his favor, as Manaphy did do a lot of work to his team, and him sacrificing his Weezing just to get rid of my Manaphy was a great play on his part. So now I go into my Crimson, and he goes out into his Escavalier, and now my place, he switches back out into Hippowdon. I just decided that, okay, I'm just going to go for an Earthquake. It hits everything on his team, and it doesn't do that much damage because it's physically defensive, and the sand damage is racking up, so now I just decided to go for my rocks here, as he goes for a Slack Off, as the Hippowdon does fairly well my Jordan, as it's not offensive this week. So I'm just going for residual damage here with the constant Earthquakes, as we're just trading EQs at this point. Neither of us doing roughly 20%, but he's going to win the 1v1 because I lack recovery. I now took the opportunity to go out into my Scolipede as he goes for a Toxic here. And now I figured with a burned Hippowdon, he cannot possibly break my sub. So I go for that substitute. Earthquake doesn't break my sub here. And now I figure I'm going to go for the Swords Dance. Try to get back some momentum on my side, as the next Earthquake will obviously break my sub. And the Sandstorm damage is going to rack up. I am holding Life Orb, so it's going to become a problem. Now, here's a play where I sort of messed up. Another mishap on my part. Now, the correct play for this scenario was to go directly for an Aqua Tail because I'm +2 speed, and I figured, and Aqua Tail hits everything on his team pretty hard except for the Salamence, which I could then Poison Jab on the next turn. But instead, I forgot completely that he still has his Ditto. So it was either two choices for me. Either I try to substitute again as he goes for a Slack Off, or he goes into the Ditto as I try to sub, and then Sandstorm damage will take me out, or Life Orb Recoil. Instead here, he makes a smart play going directly into Ditto, getting the Imposter with the +2 attack and +2 speed. I go for a substitute for no reason whatsoever. I had no reason to get that sub off here. I went for the substitute thinking that he would stay in and try to wear me down with the whole Sandstorm damage. And then I completely forgot that the Ditto exists. He comes in, copies my boost before I get the substitute off, and I just wasted 25% of my health for no reason whatsoever, as Scolipede did put a ton of work in on his team. So now he has a +2/+2 Ditto. He goes for the Poison Jab, he breaks my sub, unfortunately, and then I go for the Aqua Tail here, and another 1-for-1 trade-off that works off in his favor. He takes out my Scolipede, I take out the Ditto, and now I'm just left with two Pokemon that can't break past Escavalier now. So he goes out into his Hippowdon, getting the Sand back up, and now I decide to go for a Dragon Tail here for damage. He goes for the Toxic, as I should have went for Earthquake here to take it out, but Dragon Tail forces him out into the Salamence, which doesn't work out for me. I was hoping for Escavalier in this situation, just to wear it down for my Gardevoir. So now I can't switch in because he could be Iron Tail, so he just goes directly for an Outrage to take down my Jordan. So now I'm just down to my Mega Gardevoir here. I'm figuring, okay, he's locked into Outrage, so I can go for another substitute here as he hopefully gets like a 3. As he hopefully just hurt himself with Confusion. Go to the Outrage, doesn't affect me. And now this is sort of where I figured, okay, I'm pretty much going to lose because his Escavalier hasn't taken any damage whatsoever. I cannot beat this Escavalier even if I did put HP Fire. So I figured that he would switch out into Escavalier, not fearing anything but the HP Fire, and I thought he would try to preserve differential at this point, but instead, I go for the Focus Blast here, predicting him to go into Escavalier, but he doesn't. He doesn't hurt himself with Confusion, he breaks my substitute with the Earthquake, and now I have no choice but to attack this Salamence with the Hybrid Voice, so Mega Gardevoir picks up another kill, but it's all in naught, simply because he's now going to Escavalier and Iron Head me. Unless I get like a super crit here, this Focus Blast. Unfortunately, I missed Focus Blast. He goes for the Iron Head, and that's going to be that. So this comes out to be a 2-0 loss in my favor. I could have prepared a little bit better, as Escavalier did do a lot to my Gardevoir. And I went into this knowing that Escavalier was a problem. The only thing I could have did, I probably could have put Fire Punch over Dragon Tail on my Jardigan, simply for the fact of it did bring in Escavalier pretty decently, but I don't know, like, since I wasn't attack invested on my Jardigan, it wouldn't have done that much damage. And after the battle, it turns out this whole time his Escavalier was max attack, max special defense, Assault Vest, Escavalier. So even if I did hit the Focus Blast on the Gardevoir, it only would have did about 33%. So this is one of those tough losses, but I accept it. I mean, it's not a 6-0 like the last time, but this is a more acceptable loss, as I felt as though I played pretty well. I did have some mishaps with the Scolipede, with his Ditto copying my boost and everything. I should have just went for the attack. And then I misplayed with my Blissey with the whole, it's the only real thing I had to hit the Escavalier. Unfortunately, this makes us now 4-2 on the season. My opponent is now 5-1 with a differential now +13. We're now with a differential of +3. But I feel as though this is a loss that I can take with pride because I did play my best. It didn't give me the result I wanted in the end, but at the same time, I'm not too down about it, so to say. So I can still rebound. There's still plenty of matches to go. There's still 9 weeks left in the season, so it's not the end of the world for me. I'm still in a pretty good position. I'm still in 5th place. I still got a playoff spot locked up so far. So, but it only gets a little bit more tricky after this because I now go up against playoff, another person currently in playoff position. I go up against my Week 7 opponent, Sacred Thunder, coach of the Drakeville Dragonites. They haven't played their match yet, but they are 4-1, and they have a super scary team with Pokemon like Latios. I had to prepare for Latios. I had to prepare for Togekiss, Jirachi, Infernape, Mega Blastoise, Pokemon like that. So it's going to be another uphill battle to be for sure, but I feel as though I can still pull out a win in every week. I just gotta make sure I don't make any mistakes as I did in this battle, and I feel as though that we can rebound like we did before. So if you enjoy, feel free to hit that like button. There's plenty more matches to come in the inaugural season of the National Expedition Syndicate. And like I said, I will bounce back from this loss. This is a great battle. Props to Duty. He brought a great team against me. He had all the bases covered, and all the props to him for making sure that he saved his most important monster when it mattered most. So that's going to be it for now. Until next time, my name is Anthony, aka Tone114, and I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side. Later!